Hello, I'm back. I'm just gonna do something unusual that I haven't done. I'm reading. This is Clairvoyant. You can check it on my website. The Dark Tarot of Louis Royo, my blessed artist and friend. You can see my actual setup. It's slightly modified, but I don't want to waste time. I got my computer. I don't know if you can see it on there, but the Starchild skull is on there. This is one of many topics. Some crystals. A Buddhist amulet from Thailand. The Trimurti amulet, the Shiva amulet, a crystal barrel, an amethyst point, a seer stone from Theosophy Society, goat. Anyways, let's not waste time. I'm not going to explain the theory. I'm not going to explain anything at this point. It can be found on my website, etc. And I'll post some links for you. But I'm reading the Starchild for the second time, and for things like the Starchild or Machu Picchu, that it's more than just a yes or no. Like, for instance, some readings are an easier thing, obviously, and I don't want to talk too much. I want to get to the actual action here of this, and I just have to explain to you, most of it is theosophical, but not in a religious way. So obviously I've not just stuck with one idea, and it turns out that the esoteric portion of theosophy, to me, has the highest form of magic and explains things that I've always wanted to know. So don't think of this as ritualistic. It's more of a skill, and it's not a psychic only. It's more of a seer type of thing, clairvoyant seer. So I put some of my music in the background, vortex music, but I want to be able to talk to you. Alright, so I have the setup. The Starchild skull is on my screen. I got a drink. Tea is usually a good drink. Alright, you can see it. Starchild skull. I already know. See, to me, this one I wanted to release the findings in my weekly, what is it, magazine, zine, weekly zine. Access the Akashic. So I have my notes, just like I normally would. It says Starchild skull. So basically, sit back and watch. You know, here's an atlas. If I want to douse the origin of this being, I already know the preliminaries on the Starchild. Couldn't find my notes for the video, but I can go through and look at and find that it was probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And I said, okay, I'm going to come back to Starchild and go ahead and wait until putting it in the Access the Akashic zine that I'm doing on my site, nxxs.org. I already know some things about it, but I wanted to show the world who's out there. And I know there's scoffers and morons and stuff that hate me or whatever, but most of the people that I consider my friends is most of humanity, just like Blavatsky would believe too. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and do this and take the minor penalties that come with revealing some things from real occultism. Besides, like they say in Theosophy, the Western method of teaching is not from an authoritative standpoint, whereas in the East it is from an authoritative standpoint. So my focus now, you have to understand, this is not enclosed now, so it goes from this to here and then to the camera and then to wherever that branches out to in the near future, because this is the 14th, Tuesday, October 2014. I could over sensationalize this, but that's what psychics do, and I'm not into that because they're not seers, and none of them ever know much about theosophical doctrines. On the other hand, the supposed theosophists don't practice clairvoyance because we would already know the origins of Machu Picchu, the Mongolian people that traveled across the continents, the Sardinians, of the ruins in South America. I could tell you all sorts of things about the archaeology and stuff, and I'm still learning, and we're all still learning, so that's important. I use the dark tarot. It's not really dark in my opinion, it's just, I think it's just more subtle, and it doesn't have attributes or correspondences, which I've addressed on my website, that those can hinder your progress, because I wanted to abstract the tarot to its essence and then find out what is the real way of actually doing this. So the reading is focusing on the Starchild, but it's not, what I'm finding out now is that it's not so easy to have an onlooker, hence the whole internet, while you're trying to do a clairvoyant reading. So that's difficult. But on the other hand, I wanted to wrap up the Starchild's investigations to, like, for instance, you don't want to know every single detail of the being's life. That's unnecessary. But I can tell you already that the Starchild, from my personal opinion, I'm not going to pretend to be an authority in the West, but in the Eastern schools, that's okay, because they recognize your level being as it is. They're on a certain level, whether they be neophytes or probationers or even seers or adepts, the teachers, or chohans. So I'm just shuffling these tarot cards, 78 cards, and that's what I do. I shuffle them. You'd be surprised how quickly some readings can go. But on the other hand, the Starchild, it's relatively old, I forget, but I would say at least 2,000 years ago. It's not an alien skull. These are my findings. It's not alien. There are such things as what we call aliens. I'd prefer to call them extraterrestrials. Some of them are human, or some of them are like masters. So, or they're just beings from around the galaxy, or maybe even outside of it, or in other universes, other worlds, other chains of our Earth, other chains of other planets. So, okay, with that being said, I could talk a lot more, but I wanted it to be where you can just watch me do the reading, which might be like interesting to some people, and others it may stir up a little bit of hostility or something, because that's the nature of this. So you can see my monks. I got my monks here. Thai amulets are really beneficial, but they're not like the end all of anything. So we got Starchild. I got to turn it towards me. See, I already know that this was a special form of human, and I think it had bright orange eyes from what my last time looking at it was. and it was smaller, and it didn't really talk. It like screamed and stuff and made loud noises, and it was captured by people in South America, and I guess it was a prize that someone in South America received it or something, like maybe a king or something. So whatever they did with it, I don't know, but they didn't survive. So they found it somewhere. So now I'm trying to enter into the reading without the camera being the essential aspect of it. So I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to feel that there's an astral connection, or basically a little slight cloudiness that's going to appear before the screen, because it's not, the screen is not really there in physical sense. It's more or less I'm connecting the mind. This like the Kabbalistic mind. The mind is the most important thing to this. So the mind is connecting to that point in space and time, that phenomenal section of it. That the Starchild, I really want to know about you, Starchild. So let's turn on the music and just watch as I do this. And I promise you, I won't talk as much if I do another one. The music's on. Okay. They struggled with it. I said they struggled with it, with the child. It's not probably a child, but it's a strange form of human. They struggled with it. So basically I think that it's implying capture. Somewhere in the Andes, what's coming up somewhere in the Andes. Okay. There may have been a group of them, like a family. At first I say may, but then I pinpoint and go into the reading further. I've never done a video like this, so I don't know how far I can go on the video. Let's keep moving. Okay, since the last time I talked, it was hostile to them, to the people who captured it. I think what it seems like is they spied on the place where these creatures, half humans or strange humans, were living. It doesn't have a brain. It was like it didn't talk or think. So it's kind of an animal mind. They were a couple, so it was a male and a female that I guess they eventually captured them. They had human-like sex organs, so it was typical sex organs like male and female. And they're strange little people. So let me keep looking. Please be patient while I do this. It's not typical tarot where you get excited over one card. It's more of a Kabbalistic clairvoyance. You don't get to see this on internet, usually. But we're in a new age, right? Okay. Well, maybe I was wrong that they weren't alien, because you know, I only did one reading on this. But they weren't alien in the sense of what's commonly thought of, like they didn't just come here on a spaceship or something. I mean, they were like human little people, strange. But I mean, the idea basically is that at some point in the Andes, there was a group of these little people, strange things living there that didn't think or talk. And the last parts I got were, they were dangerous. They would scream, kick, bite, and crawl and pinch you. So it's really a phenomenon, quite a phenomenal creature. And I do recall from my last reading, because it's a little difficult reading for the camera, that they had orange eyes, like bright eyes, and some other features. So if I do release this on the webzine, but I'll put that in. But see, look, I didn't bother telling you which cards come up, but because it really, sometimes I don't record the cards, sometimes I do, it depends. But see, certain positionings, the star did come up reversed and next to a strongly aspected justice card, which in my tarots, justice is always 8, by the way. But 17 and 8 next to each other, which is 25, which is chariot, which does indicate movement, craft, ship, that I'm thinking at this point that someone may have brought them here and left them. And how many years ago was this? Yeah, the camera does create kind of an imbalance here to the astral field, but which is okay. I think it might be like 4,000 years ago, maybe 3,000. Put that down. It's not that old, I don't think. To me, really old is like 20,000, because our historians don't go back to civilization past like 10,000 for the most part. But there is definitely civilization in this world. So I'm going to move the star. Let's go ahead and use the wheel. That's pretty powerful. And the 7 of Wands. Now it's landed above the chariot, which I mentioned before, the chariot. So let's put that there. But I'm going to use the final cards. Alright, here. Let's put that there. And let's go ahead and put wow. So it does make me wonder that these star children, or they're not, I think they're full grown, I don't think it's a child, but that they were like stargazers though. They looked at the stars a lot, and they had strange colored eyes, like purple eyes, or I said orange before, but strange colored, let's put it that way. But they weren't really intelligent. So and they're small. but I could tell that they're somewhat fidget, like aggressive and frustrating to deal with. And the people didn't even want them probably after they found out how nasty they could act and try to bite you or scream and scratch you and stuff. I think it had normal fingers. It didn't have webbed fingers or anything. I think they looked pretty close to human as far as the body. See, it's like with Bigfoot. Bigfoot's actually part of the earth, part of the evolution. The Starchild, from what I'm indicating, that maybe it was brought here and left here from maybe another planet or star system, which I can find out. But before I get to that point and douse it, there's two options, because it's pretty deep. And sometimes you don't expect things to be deep, and they are, or vice versa. So, it showed me kind of a rough situation on the reading. Well, let me look. Let me do this. Put that there. The Hermit on the Nine of Pentacles. The World, last card. So, what does that indicate? Let me look. They're probably pretty well known about in their times. Whether it was 3,000 years ago in the Andes, they were pretty well known about these creatures. I don't think the people knew the origins of them in general. Sometimes there was a priesthood that may have known more advanced things, but I do this to find out the strength, the strong card here. It's definitely strength, so no pun intended at all. Let's take Lovers and Five of Wands. Strength ends up back where it was. Move the star here. It's indicating Hermit because the 8's next to it. Hermit's here. There's the 8. And the 8 wants to go back next to the star in the spread. This is my own type of spread that I use. I'm not trying to play tricks. This is the real deal. And I'm only showing it because I believe humanity's my friend overall. And so we have 8 and 7, Devil, next to each other. Put some tunes on, hold on. Because we got lawnmowers outside. I'm going to put Devil next to that. This next to this. I'm getting up. Okay. This Queen of Pentacles, and she's next to Queen of Cups. And the World card is above them. And see, like, this Queen, I just accessed her. Like, I saw like a white cloud kind of form, and which is cool that I could do that with the camera on. Allow it to be there. And I asked her in my mind, or the mind that I've connected to through these workings and etc. We can get to that. Anybody that wants it, it's there. But the Queen of Pentacles, to me, she's not a Mayan of the ladder. To me, it's more of like the people connected with Popol Vuh or Popol Vuh. So our history is not so clear either, but my mental history of it is not where I'd like it to be, obviously. So it's her. They're not Indian though. And her. They're in possession of the Starchild, Star Person, whatever it is. I could ask them what they called them. But they were like little squealers. She just told me through the astral channel, the mind. Their eyes were like gold. They had amazing eyes. And you could nearly see through the skin. So their skin was like thin, like paper thin. So you probably see the veins and stuff. And they made howling noises, and I could hear it in my mind. You might think I'm crazy or something. That's the result of me sharing this. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you everything if you think I'm crazy, but my friends don't think I'm crazy. So, howling noises. And it was kind of something strange, like haunting almost, like a yow. Oh. But higher pitch. Yow. You know, something real scary. Not scary, but spook you. If you saw one of those at night. I mean, I asked the Queen, and she was there, what she thought, now get this, what she thought their origins were. So I asked the person that had it, through the mind only, through the astral record. I'm by no means the first person to access the astral record, but it's mostly an Eastern adept skill. So, she supposed, I don't believe that they knew the origins of them. And I think that they supposed, and these were highly intelligent people in South America during this time. They weren't Indians. Not that Indians aren't intelligent, but they weren't the ones building the structures, etc. They thought that maybe it was a genetic experiment of some sort. Well, maybe not experiment in our sense of the word, but a doing. That maybe there is a strange human interaction, breeding, experiment, so to say, something like that. I don't think that the Queen supposed that they were alien or something like that, but they may have thought in the back of their minds, maybe they were brought there and left there by someone. And they probably were aware of extraterrestrials, because why wouldn't they have been? Every civilization has seen something like that at some point. And they had a civilization 3,000 or so years ago, South America, where these Starchilds, they probably weren't childs, they're just saying that because they're small. They were full grown. And there's a group of them. They were discovered, and they wanted them. They had some kind of magical magnetism about them. You know, the eyes and the skin and the howling, and they're just strange little people. So with these bases covered, to me, at this point in reading, it's somewhat satisfactory. It's not entirely 100% clear. For one, I don't have 100% clearness on exactly who the queens are in this and the South American civilizations, because our history books are obviously wrong. But I'm slowly uncovering the truth of that, and it's pretty monumental work, but in our day and age, it's better not to flaunt the ego. So I'm going to put this up without recording it this time, because readings are like that. They can be recorded for certain reasons. I mean by writing them out in my journal. But I don't know. At this section, I would say maybe I would do another one, because I'm pretty close mentally to the field of this surrounding this skull. I understand the premise of it, because that's very clear. It's not like they were intelligent aliens that flew here and died somehow without interacting with humans. So we know that, or I know that. It's up to you to decide what's true. But I think either it's a strange natural phenomena on this planet that arose from whatever forces. I mean, there's things we don't understand. It's probably not human genetic experimentation. It may be, because that's what they thought maybe it was. They didn't see it dropped off, I don't believe, from a craft. So instead of dowsing the outer space at this point, which is something that I can do because I have a very, very special pendulum and the correct method of doing that, what I could do is, let's look at specifically if there was an incident in this skull's life, or in its parents' life, or grandparents, or however many generations lived on Earth before they were taken and probably just used as, showpieces for people in cages or something, or they destroyed them. I don't know. But I'm going to try to pinpoint if they were brought here, or they were genetically or somehow altered and just evolved on this planet at random from some kind of external force that is esoteric in nature. So, see, it's already got it. I don't feel the necessity always to over shuffle. It'll just come right in. Its cards are from the 8 apps. This is specifically from Louis Royo. The final cards there. Okay. Read. World. This here, Knight of Pentacles, King of Cups, Nine of Swords, Nine of Cups, Nine of Wands. So there's definitely some occult stuff in this. Strength, 3 nines. I mean, strength again. It's important. Ace of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, which was in the first one also. 3 of Cups was in the first one. It's the first card of the last reading. There's the Queen again. The 3 Pentacles, 4 Wands, 7 of Swords, Hermit. Now look at this 9 of Cups. I feel a draw towards it. Okay. Yeah. Let's be like up front. I don't think they're extraterrestrial. I think they're terrestrial. There's this person here. I can see like a cargo ship of them. And this seems pretty radical, but the real truth is usually radical stuff. Or it's nothing. I mean, it's kind of sick that there's some like kind of wicked person that was taking they were doing some kind of genetics works on a remote island, and then I guess they had them shipped over to Peru or wherever, so in the Andes. So maybe they did sell them. So they must have took like birth defects or something, or they had certain ways of manipulating the structure of these people. I don't know what it was, and we probably don't know the science behind that even today, because the world is not the same world. So I mean, it's kind of sinister, or something really strange. It's really kind of strange. Definitely the Seven of Swords reversed, which is kind of like a scientific card, but in the reverse in this layout. It looks like somehow they were made. I don't know how. I mean, I could read and find out how, so I'm probably gonna, this is real, this is live. This is like how I normally do this. I just put the Hermit in that position. I wanna get through this right now, so there's the King of Swords. So somebody powerful with a lot of money figured out genetics on our planet. It just gave me goosebumps doing this live. I don't know if I should even be saying this, but who is this guy? Or who was that guy? And where was he from? So maybe the Queen, after all, did know where she got him. But no, that's somebody else. Alright, so there was some manufacturing of these things. And usually when a King of Swords comes in, you know it's pretty serious, so I could find out what they were doing. Okay. But this alone is pretty mind-blowing, to say the least. So, after all, I don't think I'll be needing this. That star card reversed is not, every time you see it, it's not mean extraterrestrials. I mean, this is an occult symbology, so I can't describe to you the different angles the star card may provoke, but the Seven of Swords is related to star reversed, and they're both reversed, so it's more about the science. So it's like kind of reversed, like maybe it's not wholesome, maybe it's not pure, maybe it's something that they took degenerate things and then somehow substituted the real for the fake and created these things. So we call 3,000 years ago ancient. Well, yeah, that's pretty old. But in the scope of what I've seen so far, 20,000 might not be ancient. I mean, who is this guy? Alright. I'm putting this online, so I'm going to go ahead and shut off this one. And those 3 nines definitely indicate something funny with the 3 of cups in between them. That you don't know the kind of science they had back then in this world. You know, things change. Even science changes. Laws can transmigrate. I'm going to open the World Atlas. And here we go. Get out my trusty dowsing tool. And you may have doubts about these kind of things, which is perfectly normal, I guess. I never doubted it. If someone showed me it, I would believe it from day one. That's just the kind of person I am. But then again, no one was showing me this. So I have my map. I have my dowsing pendulum. It's got unique properties. Take a deep breath. Now I'm going to wait for the weighty feeling and pinpoint where these skulls were manufactured, while these people, genetic mutations, were created and somehow shipped. That King of Swords was. Okay, I'm pleased enough with that for now. Off of the coast of Mexico, kind of towards the end of Baja California. If there's an island there now, I wouldn't be surprised. Everything is pretty accurate when I'm behind the wheel, so but accuracy is kind of subjective anyway, but a lot of stuff's purely objective in this whole thing. Most of it's objective, so you know, I don't even care right now. There's probably an island there, because it did go towards the edge of the water off the coast there, and so they didn't have to bring it very far to somewhere in the Andes, you know, compared to a lot of stuff in the ancient times. They traveled from, you know, from Italy to Peru and stuff. So it was somebody in Mexico. So who they were, if it was like the Mayans, I could do another reading on that. If the battery dies, or something on my Canon. I'm just going to call it a day because you get the idea, but I'm going to look at this and you get an idea of the kind of workings they are. So we're all friends here pretty much. You know, we still got this skull on the screen, you know. They manufactured them genetically somehow on an island, and this is live. Again, I'm telling you, there's no pre-meditation on this. I just simply don't have time. When I do clairvoyance, I'm not going to redo anything, and there's no real time involved for that. So this is part 3 in Starchild. It goes where it goes, you know. If there's a lot there, then there's a lot there. Some things are easily debunked or easily understood. If these are extraterrestrials, that'd probably be easier to understand, because I'm not necessarily going to do clairvoyance towards another planet in the past. I mean, that's pretty out there to do. It's not safe, really, unless you're like Buddha, alright, or someone like that. Alright, so there's this island off of Mexico where somehow they were making these little strange people. So I'm asking right now, not through divination, but through powers of clairvoyance in the higher mind, to access that subtle astral level. So I definitely made strange squealing sounds. I think they must have used some kind of animal DNA. This is really weird. It's very weird. But it corroborates with my initial reading on it, as I would expect. So, I want to get through this. I hope all that picked up. Oh, okay. So, 9 cups, King of Cups. It's pretty disgusting. It's some sick shit. It's like, I don't even want to know, to be honest. It's just some sick shit. Some disgusting ass shit was going on. Some kind of crossbreeding. Yep. That's what it is. Ancient crossbreeding, folks. The details of which I don't particularly care to want to see in my mind. It's some sick shit. Let's just cancel this out and end it. Yeah. The Fool came up. 4 swords. 3 of Wands. I mean, it must have took them a long time to do it. It's bad. Alright, that closes it off then. I probably won't do another reading on Starchild, supposed Starchild. I'm not going to do another reading on it. And I did this for you on the camera. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for not being scared. And obviously I didn't go beyond the limitations of what my dictates are. So, from those who would be giving them to me at this juncture. I'm going to put that back in there. I might do some personal stuff after this, but I have the webzine to write. PDF format. I'll put the links on there. Thank you.